The CBC Headline News, brought to you by Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network.
Barbados signs a multi-million-dollar agreement with the European Union. PSV strike action halted. And in sports, Barbados seniors return from the Utah Games with a record number of gold medals.
The CBC Headline News, brought to you by Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the Tuesday, October 11th edition of the CBC Evening News. And our top story: Barbados and the European community continue to develop closer relations, and the island is set to sign a €3.5 million finance agreement with the European Union. Prime Minister Fundell Stewart made the disclosure at the first EU Caribbean Sustainable Energy Conference.
Later in the year, my government expects to sign a finance agreement with the European Union for the provision of a further €3.5 million for the execution of a budget support program, which will assist us in further modernizing and developing the sustainable energy sector.
And the Prime Minister also expressed concern about the inability of countries to fully capitalize on the European Partnership Agreement and the EU's concept of differentiation.
Of great concern to the region beyond these considerations, however, is the issue with respect to the EU's move to the concept of differentiation to determine support for the ACP countries. This adjustment in the development policy of the EU to the region, which will reduce support to those countries that are classified as middle income and move bilateral assistance to a regional platform, has come at an unfortunate time as the region is still fighting off the worst effects of a debilitating economic recession.
And Prime Minister Stewart has reiterated that Barbados highly values its relationship with the United Kingdom, describing it as rich and mutually edifying. Mr. Stewart made the comments recently as he met with Foreign Office Minister Baroness Joyce Anale, who visited the island for the very first time as Minister of State for the Caribbean. Those present at the courtesy call at government headquarters included Permanent Secretary in the Prime Minister's office Sandra Welch, Chargé d'Affaires at the British High Commission Colin Dick, Assistant Private Secretary Beth Carson, and Head of the Political Section at the High Commission Martin Robinson. The Prime Minister says the relationship between Barbados and the UK is on very firm ground and it can only get better. Well, strike action embarked on by a number of owners of public service vehicles has come to an end. The action, though minimal, didn't materialize into any wide-scale disruption of transport. The decision came following a meeting between Transport Minister Michael Lashley and members of the Alliance of Owners of Public Transport and the Association of Public Transport Operators. Following the over 4-hour talks, it was revealed that agreement was reached on a number of areas. However, calls for an increase in bus fares were rejected. Overall, Mr. Lashley says the talks were cordial and successful.
I believe that coming out of the meeting today, we have come to some positions, and that on Monday there will be a further meeting with the subcommittee that was set up that came out of meetings that we had, and that subcommittee will be looking at matters raised by the PSV operators.
Now, among the issues of concern, the fines imposed, access to duty-free concessions, and PSV operators want a return of the Baxter's Road route. On the latter, correspondence has been received from the Commissioner of Police.
Based on that correspondence, we have to do further consultations with stakeholders, and we will see from there on how it goes. But be that as it may too, in relation to the representation on the Transport Authority Board, that is receiving very active and careful consideration, and we will report back to the PSC operators and their bodies very shortly on that.
And a spokesperson of the Joint Committee, Ingrid King, insists the strike action was a success. She's to update fellow owners on the developments from that meeting. She also told the minister that programs have begun to stamp out bad behavior.
Along with the insurance companies, for example, where we've increased our monitoring, we've increased the whole aspect of following up a lot more on what we can do in terms of infractions once they come to our attention. We have, though, said to the ministry again that we need their help. We need the assistance of the police. And, you know, the question has arisen repeatedly, why is it that you need police to police big men and women? Well, we say to that the police force did not arrive with the advent of the PSVs. It is something that is present in civil societies all over the world.
Barbados' push towards a greener economy is fully supported by the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, or UNIDO, and the organization is helping to facilitate the country's drive to increase its use of renewable energy. These were some of the points made during a media conference involving Industry Minister Donville Innes, UNIDO Director General De Jong, and Chief Strategist for Donor Relations Stain Hansen. Minister Innes says with UNIDO's help, Barbados is forging ahead with its renewable energy agenda.
The Ministry of Industry and with the support of Director Lee and Stein Hansen have reached a point where we've identified projects to be done that will lead towards an increased number of entrepreneurs in the renewable energy sector, a better framework for driving the industry forward, and also to engage in practical projects such as the generating of power from properties owned currently by the state, namely the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation. Funding, this main project we estimated would cost about $10 million, of which the Barbados government's contribution could be in the tune of $2 million US.
And UNIDO's Director General says he met with Prime Minister Fundell Stewart recently, and his organization is committed to facilitating the vision outlined by this country's leader.
Yesterday I had a meeting with Prime Minister. He gave me the full picture of the nation, Barbados strategy, social, economic, environmental strategy. 4 priorities set up. One is socially balanced, environmental sound, and the economic viable, and the most important is transparent, good governance. So those 4 priorities really a very, very good strategy. You need to fully support that.
Employees at a rapidly growing offshore company now have access to free medical services at work. The company CAM2 Solutions says this is part of its Barbados Health Initiative, which was launched at Building Number 2 at the Harbour Industrial Park. The offshore firm, which specializes in business outsourcing services, has increased its workforce from around 200 people to 900 in just the last 2 years. Regional Vice President for the Caribbean, Tony Jennings, says the on-site medical facility will be staffed by 2 doctors and additional resources will be added if necessary.
This provides health care free of charge to our employees, which is a very important thing when you think about the number of people who don't get or seek medical attention, be it because of inconvenience or because of the expense associated with doing so. Our employees, if they become ill at home or here at work, have the convenience and free of cost the access to medical doctors right here in this facility.
Mr. Jennings says the initiative also includes health insurance for employees, an on-site fitness trainer, and a discount on pharmaceuticals. Industry Minister Donville Innes commended the company for the program, saying CAM2 Solutions is a shining example of what a 21st century employer should be.
I think employers in Barbados have a duty to provide the right kind of environment for the employees to be as productive as possible. It's not just about salaries. It's about the physical environment within which they work, whether air conditioning works or not, the bathroom facilities, the parking facilities, and all of those. But when companies take the step to really show their their faith and support for employees by providing access to healthcare facilities, I think you've really put yourself in a position now where you'll be the envy of other institutions in Barbados.
Well, the Guardians of Color in Barbados have just become the 11th guardian of our heritage. This is Harris Paints Barbados unveiled its logo and the flag hoisted in its name this morning here at the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation. Charles Curtin, who is head of the company's business unit, says they're glad for the opportunity to join with other entities to celebrate the island's independence.
Over the last 44 years, we have strived as the locally owned paint company in Barbados to live up to the reputation of pride in industry. And as we look forward, we at Harris Paints, we seek to enrich the lives of our fellow Caribbean citizens and indeed our Caribbean neighbors. We seek to provide world-class products, services and solutions that will bring superior visual delight and longer-lasting care and protection to our nation's surroundings.
And broadcaster here at the CBC, Kimberly Skeet, thanked Harris Paints for coming on board.
Having been in the field of making sure that they're champions of color since 1972, that's been 44 years of the journey, and you've grown with Barbados. And as we celebrate 50 years, we also want to welcome you and congratulate you for the strides that you have made, and also continuing to be within each and everyone's household with color, with choice, with greening our environment, and of course continuing to be innovative.
Well, there are 50 days left until Barbados' 50th anniversary of independence. And the 50th anniversary of independence celebration Secretariat marked the milestone earlier today with the parade from outside of Cape Shepherd Broad Street to Jubilee Gardens. Chairperson of the Secretariat, Senator Maxine McLean, explains there is a packed calendar of new and traditional events leading up to the November 30th occasion. They include the lighting ceremony, the Food and Rum Festival, and a futuristic play dedicated to the late Dame Nita Barrow and the Prime Minister's special dinner.
Our signature events of November will be the Prime Minister's dinner and ball, Title I Golden Moment in Time, a celebration of excellence. And the date for this dinner and ball is November 25th, starting at 7 p.m. at Ilara Courts. And it can be described as the quintessential experience when Prime Minister of Barbados, the Right Honorable Frundle Stewart, QCMP, hosts this white tie affair at Ilara Court.
Senator McLean wants persons to make an effort to attend as many events as possible. She also shared some details about the unveiling of the 50th Independence Monument.
On November 29th, there will be a ceremony, the reveal of the 50th Anniversary Independence Monument. This event will take place at the historic Garrison Savannah, and it begins at 10 o'clock. It will be, ladies and gentlemen, a short, impactful public ceremony to reveal the 50th anniversary of Independence National Monument and the oversized national flag.
Stay with us. We'll have more news right after the break.
Don't let your data experience slow you down. Step up to Digicel, Barbados' fastest 4G network, more than twice as fast as the slow network. Get more with Digicel. Digicel, the fastest 4G network in Barbados. Dial *153# to sign up to Digicel today.
Disasters will come and go, but you can be assured that Team CBC will go the distance with you every time, bringing you coverage on television, on radio and online. When things around you are swirling, you need a partner you can rely on. You can depend on the stations of CBC. Committed coverage through it all.
Well, 2 people were hurt in an accident on the Spring Garden Highway in St. Michael earlier today, which caused the road to be impassable for some time. Confirmation of this from Police Public Relations Officer Acting Inspector Roland Cobbler. He says while no names are available as yet, one of the injured was a 30-year-old woman and the other a 34-year-old man. Both complained of neck, chest and back pains. One of them was taken by ambulance to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital while the other sought private medical attention. That accident occurred around 1:45 this afternoon, and police say the highway was blocked and traffic was diverted as investigations were carried out. Well, wanted man 45-year-old Ricky Kenneth Yearwood of 3rd Avenue, Grisette, St. Michael, has turned himself into lawman. Yearwood surrendered to police today accompanied by an attorney at law. Yearwood, who was wanted in connection with serious criminal matters, is currently assisting with those investigations. Efforts to modernize the Barbados Customs and Excise Department and bring changes to the major revenue collection agencies must not be resisted. This contention from Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development Donville Innes, who is urging compliance as the facilitation of trade is being streamlined in the region. Minister Innes was speaking at the opening of the regional consultation on the CARICOM strategy for regional implementation of the World Trade Organization Agreement on Trade Facilitation.
I urge those still in doubt to look at the big picture, because I firmly believe that this island, like the rest of the Caribbean islands, really needs to settle down and get on with some serious work. The government's aim is to make these operations more efficient and effective as we seek to promote competition, strengthen our revenue collection capabilities, reduce congestion at the ports of entry, speed up legitimate trade, and enhance the protection of our borders and, by extension, our communities.
The Lions Club of Barbados South is playing a part in the fight to end reversible blindness and visual impairment. In this regard, it has embarked on a Sight First tin project. The launch comes during Sight Week, which began yesterday and falls within Sight Preservation Month, which is being observed this month. Public Service Committee Chairman Lion Corliss Weeks Grisette says funds collected will go towards a number of projects.
Educational programs which emphasize sight, such as health lectures, distribution of white cane to any person or persons within the community who suffers from blindness, diabetes awareness, and I have an article here from International Association of Lions Club, District 60B, Newsletter, Volume 1, September 2016. And this is raising diabetes awareness, preserving sight.
Weeks Grisette is encouraging Barbadians to support the project.
During this week, we will be visible out there in the public domain as we not only seek funds but try to sensitize the public on sight-related matters. In doing so, we will be joining with all other Lions around the world as we celebrate this centennial event.
And still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region.